Right. Rob, there seemed to be a committee meeting that slipped through the net during the general election regarding the £53 million worth of cuts. Somebody in the NHS turned up. What actually went on there?
It's quite an interesting meeting. I'd had a lot of residents sign a petition and come to me saying £53 million worth of cuts. We've read this in the Gazette. What does this mean? I'm already having problems getting a doctor, getting hospital treatment, or indeed going into hospital and having a very terrible time because of the poor cleanliness of the place. We want answers. We want to know where that £53 million worth of axe is going to fall. The guy turned up from the NHS Trust and instead of answering the questions, pulled an obscure part of election rule, which is the Purdah rules, which prevents public bodies promoting or demoting a particular political party, and said, I can't answer these questions because of Purdah. It was in a way it was quite a good use of it, but a very poor use of it, because you should be there to answer the questions that needs to be answered.
But you had quite a list of your constituents' concerns, didn't you?
I did. Not only my constituents, but constituents from other areas that heard about the petition. A couple of my residents have taken copies of that petition to work. They work in big organisations. Indeed, some of them actually work for the NHS, and were shocked to find there was £53 million worth of cuts happening. It hadn't been communicated to them either. One of my residents has had a particularly bad experience and was in hospital for a lot longer than he needed to be because of complications. And they want to know, this £53 million worth of cuts, how's it going to be made? When is the axe going to fall, and how is it going to affect them personally? These people are going to have to go back into hospital for other treatment at later stages. Are they going to wait longer? Are they going to have such a poor time at the hospital? Not because of the excellent work that the staff do. The nurses there are fantastic, the doctors, the surgeons, brilliant under the pressures they're being put under. But it's all the ancillary stuff. You're picking up secondary infections, picking up serious infections. As we read recently, one gentleman in Ockenden passing away because of Legionellas that was probably contracted there. Are they going to be put at risk because of cuts? And you would have thought that a good caring NHS would have allayed that risk straight away. All we heard that it was costing £1,700 a night to keep somebody in hospital, and you think, well, surely if it's costing £1,700 a night in hospital, you need to get those people out safely, quicker, not keep them in longer. They're picking up secondary infections and remaining there much longer at £1,700 a night. So it's smarten up your acts and get it done and get it out in public so public fears are allayed, but they didn't.
But that particular gentleman's got to be back, hasn't he?
He should do. The committee did ask that he return, or someone return, with better answers. He did say that there would be information on the website. I've gone to their website today. I couldn't find it. It's a very neat, tidy website. Doesn't tell you a great deal. But of course, a lot of people that use the NHS are not IT savvy. They're not using the internet. They might not want to use the internet, and they shouldn't have to. They've got their own mechanism for getting stuff out into the press. They can call on you, they can call on the Gazette, they can do the press releases and say this is how we're saving the money, and showing that if it is truly about efficiencies, by making sure patients are turned around quicker, making sure that they're only treating the patients they need to treat, and ones that can wait, or ones that have, don't need to be there, are treated in a more appropriate, cheaper option, then fine. But they need to get that out there, and they're just not. And it's as soon as people start thinking, well, why is that? The first thing that comes into their mind is, what are they hiding? Not, why are they not telling us?
It goes without saying, I guess, that it seemed to me every single day of that general election campaign you were out and about. You must have gone through quite a few pairs of shoes.
True.
But not only in your ward, but across the constituency. Was this one of the issues that came up time and time again?
There were a lot of issues that came up time and time again. It was one, and it was just generally NHS cuts. It was in the public eye. Unfortunately, with the certain rules that you do have coming up to elections, it wasn't mentioned as much in the press as you would have expected. It did seem to slip under the radar fairly quickly. But yes, they mentioned that, and of course the fact that they can't get health services now, doctors, dentists. Time actually to see the doctors. One woman saying that she phoned up on the Monday, won't be able to see the doctor until the following Monday. By that time she was over the cold or over the flu. So, but if it had been worse, then what?
Does it frustrate you? We're slightly going off the subject here, so to speak. Does it frustrate you now that you're in opposition here that may not have the? Do you feel you've still got the potency to press these issues?
Overview scrutiny is politically neutral. It's there for one purpose, and that is to scrutinise the public spending and the way that public bodies act and behave. They still have those powers. I would hope that the new chair will continue the good work of the previous chair of that committee and to continue pressing for answers and making sure that the NHS is held accountable, along with the police and on the relevant overview and scrutiny there, because these powers are given to local authorities, and unless they're taken away, the local authorities need to use them. Opposition in power makes no odds.
But Wendy Hurd did, as you said, was a forceful person as a chair, and she absolutely, she actually went into Basildon Hospital along with Lorna Paynes. That's quite a tough act to follow, isn't it?
It is a very good, well, tough act and a good act to follow. She did an absolutely wonderful piece of work. It's probably looking at other overview scrutiny committees across the country, looking at their reports and what they've done. It's over and above what a lot of chairs have done, and that's embracing the rules that were there and using them for the advantage of the 149,000 residents of Thurrock.